Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and let's head straight into our today's video. God of War is an epic franchise which revolves around strong themes, characters and their relationships, psychological elements, and a lot more. All of these aspects are set in the same setting, which is, of course, within the mythological setting in which game is taking place. So far, God of War franchise has mainly shown two mythologies, Greek and Norse. Both of these sagas offered unique but epic experiences to the players all over the world. Regarding the future of the series, there have been many hints both in and out of the game. Today, we are going to discuss and analyze one of the heavily teased mythologies in the God of War universe, which is none other than the Egyptian mythology. First of all, we are going to discuss the basics and main gods of Egyptian mythology. As the name suggests, this mythology is set in ancient Egypt when the Egyptian gods were said to rule these lands. Like every other pantheon, this one also has its own gods. Speaking of the most important gods in Egyptian mythology, they include Ra, the sun, god who is the creator and source of life; Osiris, who is related to underworld and resurrection, like another god called Anubis, who is the god of death, mummification, afterlife, and underworld. Horus is the god of sky and kingship. Thoth, who also appeared in God of War Fallen God comic, is the god of writing, science, magic, art, and judgment. Isis is the goddess of magic, marriage, sky, kingship, and protection. Bastet is the goddess of cats, joy, love, women, pregnancy, childbirth, and cosmetics. Sekhmet is another important deity who is the goddess of warfare and healing. Set is the god of chaos, deserts, and storms. Taweret is the god of protection and fertility. Khonsu is the moon god, who is also referred to as the pathfinder and traveler. Sobek is the deity of Nile crocodiles. Meanwhile, Ta is the patron of craftsmen and architects. Now moving forward, we are going to talk about the potential storyline of the game. We will discuss the three possible scenarios. Firstly, as we know that Atreus went out to find the rest of the giants at the end of God of War Ragnarok, he may find some of them in ancient Egypt itself. Egyptian gods might have been using the giants to build the pyramids. When Atreus comes to know about this, he may entangle in an argument with the Egyptian gods. This may lead to Atreus being punished or imprisoned by these gods, which will ultimately force his father Kratos to travel to Egypt once he finds about it. This can even escalate into a multi-pantheon war. Another scenario is that Kratos himself decides to travel to Egypt. This theory is backed by the fact that Kratos has shown his interest in traveling to these lands. Also, Kratos has already traveled in few parts of Egypt where he encounters an Egyptian god Thoth. Lastly, either Kratos or Atreus may somehow die, and they are awakened in the Egyptian underworld by Anubis. There can be some deep purpose behind Anubis bringing either of them in his lands. It can serve as an interesting twist in the story. A God of War game without epic and huge fights is not a God of War game, right? So next, we are going to discuss the potential boss battles and enemies. Interestingly, ancient Egypt offers a large collection of opponents to choose from to fight against Kratos. It will likely include many of the important Egyptian gods whom I have mentioned previously in this video. I don't think Kratos will fight Anubis, the god of underworld, which is in contrast to Hades, the Greek god of underworld. Similarly, in contrast to Tyre, the Norse god of war, we will get to fight against Set, the Egyptian god of chaos, and sometimes also referred to as the god of war. Mini-bosses and common enemies can include mummies, desert warriors, animals like crocodiles, guardians of the temples and pyramids, and a lot more creatures from Egyptian mythology. Moving forward, we will shift our focus to the weapons and powers which Kratos can potentially wield in ancient Egypt. Almost every God of War game features at least one new weapon, so it is guaranteed that Kratos is going to use a new weapon in the future God of War game. The most likely weapon will be the Khopesh blades. Yes, the same weapons used by Tyr while fighting against Kratos in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Also, these weapons were shown to be used by Kratos in the concept art, which was made by Santa Monica Studio for an Egyptian God of War game before they decided to switch to Norse. It will either be a single or double blade weapon. Anyway, it is going to be epic and fast-paced in the combat and gameplay. Imagine Kratos ripping his enemies and the executions which will come along with it. Oh boy, it is going to look majestic. Speaking of the powers, the developers can choose from a handful of collection. We can see Kratos obtaining the power to summon sandstorms, or him controlling certain creatures to do specific tasks at his own will. It will be very interesting to see and use such things in the game.
Well done, boy!
Lastly, we are going to discuss the environments of the game. Many people have a common misconception regarding ancient Egypt, which is that almost whole of the ancient Egyptian region was a desert. This is completely wrong. Instead, nearly half of the area was fertile land where people used to do agriculture and grow their crops. Like Greek and Norse games, we will definitely see a variety of environments in an Egyptian God of War game. We will surely get to see some magnificent pyramids and deserts. Like other sagas, we are likely getting more than one Egyptian God of War game. So it is also possible that we see different pyramids in all the Egyptian games. Talking about deserts, the devs can use them in a way they did in Greek and Norse games. Along with exploration, they can use sandstorms as a way to come up face to face with a random enemy in the desert. Imagine we are wandering in a desert storm and are trying to reach a safe spot to get out of it, but instead, we end up fighting a random Egyptian creature. It will be very cool from a true gamer's perspective. Other environments can include the jungles of ancient Egypt. These were already shown in the God of War Fallen God comic. Various animals and creatures live in them, which can serve as an interesting mini-boss fights. River Nile is another important landmark of ancient Egypt. The area surrounding it is mostly a fertile land. As I have mentioned earlier in the video that many Egyptian gods are connected with crops, agriculture, and fertility, we may encounter them around River Nile. We can also explore Nile itself by means of a boat, like we did in Lake of Nine in the first Norse game. Underworld is also an interesting place. A large part of Egyptian mythology revolves around the theme of afterlife. Anubis is the ruler of the underworld. Kratos can encounter him there, but as I have already said, I don't think he will be our enemy. Rather, he can assist Kratos in his journey. We can also see some villages or cities from ancient Egypt which were bustling and busy places filled with people, houses, shops, and other stuff. We have already seen a village in the God of War Fallen God comic where Kratos defeats a huge crocodile-like or hippocampus-like sea monster to save the villagers. We may see ancient Cairo or the city of Thebes in their full glory. So this concludes our today's video regarding a God of War game set in Egyptian mythology. We did our best to make this video and to explain all the important stuff. Hope you have enjoyed it, and make sure to show your love by hitting the subscribe and like button, for which we will be very thankful. We will return with another cool and interesting video. Till then, take care.